A few weeks ago, as part of Geshe Yeshe Tabke's motivation, he said something that just really got my attention. And it was something like, our body and mind exist in a conjoined state. This is our life, in the nature of impermanence and disintegration. Very temporary. We have a sense that this is stable and lasting. It's actually quickly destroyed. Death is the point of separation of body and mind. This is our situation, like water bubbles that quickly disperse. Remember this. We are going to have to die. Remember this again and again. It had been a while since I had gone through and done the 9-point death meditation when I heard this, and was really inspired to revisit it, where we contemplate that we are going to die, we don't know when, and at the time of death, the Dharma is really the only thing that matters, because we're going to leave behind our possessions, we're going to leave behind our friends and loved ones, and we're even going to leave behind this body. And so what really matters is the karma that we've created in relation to these things, and how well we're able to work with our mind to navigate what could be a uncomfortable, painful, and although we've died many times, it might seem unfamiliar this time. I don't know. And so I did this meditation in the evening after this teaching, made it partway through and continued it the next day. And when I do this meditation, I really have a hard time getting kind of this real feeling that I'm going to die. But what I noticed was that later that day, when, some little thing happened that I didn't really like, one of my initial thoughts to kind of work with my mind was, well, I'm going to die. Is this going to be important? And that helped me really quickly see that this little incident is not important, but what's important is how I am responding to it, and that I want to die with a happy mind. And so I need to live in a way where I am creating the habit of cultivating a happy and content mind. And so by remembering that I'm going to die, it helps me kind of prioritize, like, what is important and what are the things that I can let go of. So this has unexpectedly been really great preparation for the upcoming retreat, and has really helped me retreat from the afflictions, because thinking about death has been able to help me just counteract numerous afflictions and distorted perceptions as they arise. Perhaps it's been when someone has said something that I've interpreted in a way that maybe I think that they're kind of annoyed by my presence. Instead of getting wrapped up with, kind of my own self-centeredness, like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, or my people-pleasing tendency hasn't been met by their reaction. Instead, what kind of mind do I want to die with? I want to die with a kind of mind that really appreciates people and has an open heart towards them, no matter how they are responding to me or treating me. And so this has just helped me cultivate this care and concern about others, and see that during these really small situations that I can blow up quite quickly into a big deal, that others really have a good motivation, just like I am trying to bring a good motivation into things that I do. And sometimes it's not appreciated, perhaps, or not seen, because others have different ways of doing things and different ideas of what they think is the best way. In the same way, I can have a lack of appreciation for the ways that others are bringing their good motivation forth. And so remembering that this could be the last time I actually interact with this person, because we don't know when we're going to die, really helps me to live in line with my values and really come from a place of caring and compassion versus, but this isn't the way that I think it should go and I need to get what I want. And that doesn't really end well for either of us, because there's then this feeling of dissatisfaction and disharmony and tension, when really I'm wanting to connect with a person and really want to value what we all bring and our different qualities and characteristics, and really honor our aspirations to cultivate our good hearts and our kindness and our wisdom. Venerable Chodron, when she was teaching the Easy Path to Omniscience, she said, imagine, or something like, it's not exact quote, but she said something like, imagine we have the realization of death and impermanence. What would it feel like to know we're going to die? We don't know when, and that the Dharma is the only thing that's going to help us. What does it feel like to have so much conviction in the Dharma that our mind is transformed in that way? And she goes on to say that this meditation helps us set priorities. It can lead to having a peaceful mind. Being concerned about death and rebirth can help us put a different view on this life. We aren't bugged by the little things. We don't want to be bothered by them when we die. If people criticize me, we don't have time or energy to get mad at them. Considering we could die and we don't know when, why get upset? Getting angry could lead to a lower rebirth since we don't know when we're going to die. So it's really striking to me how this meditation on death and this topic that's can be quite taboo in our culture and something that we don't want to talk about or really look at or admit that's going to happen, how it can really open up avenues to having this really peaceful mind of seeing each moment as an opportunity to live from my heart and look at what is important to me, what is meaningful in life, and to go towards that. And also look at what is not really contributing to my lasting happiness and contentment. And seeing that rearranging samsara, and kind of as a former teacher puts into a really beautiful illustration, like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, that this can bring some temporary satisfaction of, getting what I want in the moment, but at what cost? When I am feeding my attachment and really feeding my anger, these are the things that are going to come back and be my habitual mindset when I die. And so I should start working on these things now, because when I am in challenging situations, I can see that I go back to my default, and that self-centeredness really comes up, and I just kind of want to defend myself. And so the more that I can challenge this at a time that I'm relatively comfortable, the more that I will be able to work with my mind when I'm not comfortable and when I'm dying. And I don't know when that's going to be or what the situation is going to be. So there could be a lot of surprises happening. And the more I can work with my mind as, these little interactions that are kind of surprising to me happen, the more I'll be able to work with it as I'm moving into my next life, and want to have a peaceful mind that can remember my good heart and remember my aspirations so that I can continue to go in this direction. John Kabat-Zinn, he wrote the foreword for Bhikkhu Analayo's Mindfulness Breathing Practice Guide. He really brings it into using mindfulness as a way to, and thinking about our death. He brings us together when he says, "We are only one in-breath away from being dead. And in some sense, when we give ourselves over to paying attention to the breath, we know that more vividly, not merely in thought, but more viscerally, in a more embodied way. And that knowing enlivens this moment and makes it not worth missing. It makes it worth inhabiting completely." So it's been really difficult for me to get a heartfelt feeling that I'm actually going to die, even though I have had many family members die, friends, pets. I've known about many strangers who have died. And I hope to use this retreat and really looking at mindfulness of the body and the feelings, the mind, and mental factors as a way to cultivate this deeper understanding of impermanence and seeing that right now I'm in this really just constantly moving place that goes from life to life to life. And so to not focus so much on what's right in front of me, but really keep my mind aimed towards full awakening and remembering that others are also going to die. Keep my heart really open to this opportunity to connect right now and cultivate the aspiration that we may be able to support each other in these really beautiful aspirations to be of the most benefit to all beings. And so I really encourage you to also contemplate death as we enter into retreat and use it as a way to counter the afflictions as they come up and support this incredible opportunity that we have to cultivate our kind heart and really counter the distorted way that our mind grabs onto seeing things so concretely in the here and now.